I know who James
technology.
Cameron is.
I'm just making sure because it could
You
have
like
been
looked at me like I'm like a dum-dum.
You might not have realized. You might have thought there's another James Cameron that's producing music. I was referring to the director.
Listen, excuse me. Titanic was my most favorite movie in 1997. How dare you?
Lost and I have heard you. I see you.
Honey, I think your talent is drumming.
That's a good one.
So
That is a good one.
it's a good one, right?
Oh my Lord.
So he had developed.
I
AI
apologize to our audience in advance for that performance.
Why? Because it's brilliant. It's like one of the best performances you were going to hear on that particular day, or potentially the rest of their lives.
Hey everybody, you're listening to God Spice with Greg and Kirti.
All right, we're really excited. We have a new special episode of Got Spice, and we're coming to you from my childhood town. We are coming to you from Shaolin.
Staten Island.
That's right, little Staten
Yep.
Island. And we've got actually a special guest
We
today,
do.
right?
Yes. Although I don't know if this gentleman was born and raised in Staten Island. I think from Brooklyn, maybe hailed first and then moved to Staten Island.
Well, we'll find out more.
We'll find out. But I am the Gregory, and alongside me is the beautiful Ms.
Oh, I guess my name is Kirti, and
Yes.
you are watching Got Spice. So we are excited to actually introduce a guest that we became acquainted with during kind of like the end of our God Spice 2023 season. He came to our fun little event that like really celebrated our new followership.
I don't know if I would call it a little event, but it was
No,
a pretty grand event.
I mean, there were a few hundred people there. It was not
It
bad.
wasn't small.
I mean, good enough.
It was a great gathering.
But we are so excited to introduce you guys to an artist named Tesso, but we're going to refer to him as Danny. So Danny, welcome to
Yes.
our show.
Welcome to Got Spice.
Thank you guys for having me on the show.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a great opportunity for you to maybe share a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and we have some questions to kind of ask you and get
Yes.
to know you better.
We're going to delve deep, and we are going to go into the very beginning of your life all the way through today, and it's going to be as though you just went to the doctor and had a body cavity checkup.
I don't know about that. Body cavity checkup?
Yeah, I mean we're in a house of doctors, so I figured why not bring in some medical terminology into our show.
Okay, Greg. This is where I kind of cut you off.
Why do you cut me off?
All right.
This is where you tell me to
Can
expand further.
you let our guest answer the question?
I'm trying to, but you keep interjecting and like rebutting.
You've got to step in, Danny, or he's gonna.
All right,
keep
Danny,
going.
let's go. Let's hear about it. Introduce yourself.
My actual name is Daniel Tesoro, and I go by DJ Tesso. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I moved out to Staten Island just about 4 years ago, and I've been DJing for 18 years, producing for about 10.
Wow.
Nice.
So you don't age. 18 years you've been making music. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, apparently he was making it in his mother's womb. He's only 19 years old now.
Oh, ageless one day.
Ageless.
Absolutely.
Aging like wine.
Yes.
That's all right. So tell us, like, what kind of sparked your interest? Like, what got you to be like, I want to make music? Like, how did that happen?
So when I was a kid, my mom had these cassette tapes, so I would make mixtapes out of it.
Okay,
I would-
wait, pause.
Yep.
He at least was introduced to cassette tapes. We've got there's some problems here.
So I thought you were saying pause because we were pausing for a second. But
No. I'm pausing here
Oh.
for like the reality of
So-
like you thought he was just born yesterday, but
Well, no, because
he's
as a
actually had exposure to cassette tapes.
The reason why he has exposure to cassette tapes is because a lot of true musicians, what they do is they search their influences, and sometimes the influences you have to find them on a cassette tape
Yeah, or a record.
or a record.
Yeah.
Well, record, like that's also in fad. Like,
Yeah.
even our kids want records.
Of course they do. Remember 45s? You
Yep.
got 45s back in the day for singles, then an official album, which is like 72 RPM. Oh, and then you had the 78s, which were the
Okay,
originals.
he's going into tech talk, which I'll get you
Yeah,
both.
That's not tech talk.
I
that's
will
just-
let you both get into it, but you didn't let him answer my question.
Oh,
What
yes.
sparked your interest?
So the cassette. So I was sick of hearing the commercials on the radio. So I started making mixtapes, and I would pause, stop, record, and that's how I initially started. And then fast forward, I was 9 years old. I was 9 years old doing that. At 11, I ended up getting my first pair of turntables, and I used all the records that we had in the house.
Were they SLs?
Well, I was
Technique
gonna
SLs?
They
EMKs?
were ions, but then
Ions?
I ended up getting Techniques down the
Nice.
line.
You were given your first turntable at like 11. Did you save up for it? Who bought it for you? Like, how'd that come to be?
That's a great question.
Because I know what you had to do to
Yeah.
get your drum set.
I had to work at it. Yeah, I had to move from pots and pans to my father worked for the phone company, so we always had these big boxes. To putting boxes together, I was like kicking them with my feet. Then I was given a snare drum, then a cymbal, and then eventually we were at the at Sam Ash, and there was like parts of it, not even a full
Good
drum
old
kit,
Sam Ash.
parts of a drum kit that were there on sale, and so my mother happened to buy it for me. Took them home that day and already just knew how to play it, and just from there on, just
It was all about
Took
the
off.
pots and pans led
Yeah.
to a real drum kit.
Like New Year's Eve.
Yes.
New Year's Eve. That's when
That's what we do. We take out pots and pans and go outside.
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
really?
Yeah, make noise.
Yeah, we make noise. People do that.
That reminds me of during the pandemic
COVID?
COVID, yeah.
Yeah.
At 5 p.m. when
yeah.
everyone used to kind of go outside and
Yep.
cheers, all the first responders and all the medical staff. And I just remember also people used to put on New York, New York. You know, it's like
Yes.
New York, New York. Then there'd be people singing and then people banging pots and pans.
Yes,
Yeah,
there was
right.
that. But back to your.
Did you
back
sample
down
any
your-
of that and then like put ever, bang, 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 ever into your songs?
Nah, not that. But I've done sampling that way. I actually have a story of how I sampled the noises in my house before I left. So now I'm going to actually record a record with all the familiar song sounds that I grew up to, because I remember walking down the stairs. Yeah, I would never hear that again, ever. So I actually recorded all those, and I'm going to make a song
That
out of
sort
it.
of also reminds me of a movie that our daughter just made us watch.
I was just thinking in my head.
Skinamarink.
Skinamarink. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't
It's-
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You should watch Skinamarink. It's definitely creepo.
It's definitely a creepy flick. I
And
wouldn't call it
it's like-
scary,
What's it
but
about?
suspenseful and just
it's
creepy.
It's like a creepy, spooky kind of. It's not horror movie. It's more like it's like a suspense psychothriller. That's like I think the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But like he leveraged like sounds like that to create a movie.
That's
and we can't
interesting.
even tell you about the movie because if we tell you literally anything about it, it just gives away the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
That's
sounds
all we
interesting.
will say.
Yep.
What's it
Skinamarink.
called?
Skinamarink.
Skinamarink?
Skinamarink.
Say that 5 times fast.
Skinamarink, 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 Skinamarink. No, you can't sing
Skinamarink
everything.
Friday.
He sings everything.
Friday. Skinamarink Friday. 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 What are you looking at me like that for? You know you want to chime in.
I do not want to chime in.
You know, talking about
That was very dad mode.
You know what? That song is so hot that we have now DJs doing remixes of this.
I heard Tesso may have done a remix of it.
I heard a rumor. I heard a rumor that it's being released soon.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
I think it's we played it actually at my sister. She had this fabulous birthday bash for my brother-in-law, and we blasted it at his birthday party, and people were jamming to it.
The
You liked it?
Yeah. Well, I would have loved it. The problem is I couldn't hear it. The tinnitus was so bad from 8 hours of drilling the day prior into concrete and cement that I couldn't hear anything for the next 4 days. So I would have loved to have said.
That's a whole other story. And actually, our next guest on the next episode of God Spice will actually be my sister and
Yes.
brother-in-law. And we will talk about how we flew down there and he decided to have drilling in the walls.
Yes. But if
It
I
was
was
an exhilarating
if I was
experience.
Putham, I would have, as I said, I would have done the exact same thing
Because he wanted to do anything to have his speaker set up.
for the party, of course.
Yes,
Just
yes.
like I would have new columns put in the house. I'd probably bring in like a whole crew to get everything set up for the party if I had new speakers and new toys to utilize.
Well, so
for that
speaking of
particular
new
day.
toys, I still want to know how you earned the
Yes.
turntable.
So let's get back to the
how did you-
turntables.
like you're 11 years old.
Did you have 2 turntables and a microphone?
No, I just had, not the microphone. I just had 2 turntables. They were ion turntables. Bought them from Rinky Dink spot in Sunset in Brooklyn. My grandma got them for me for Christmas.
That's the beauty of grandmas. They will buy for the child what the parents won't.
I used to love Christmas when I was younger, running downstairs. And each year, like once I started getting items once I first, got those items for my drum kit, each year for Christmas, there'd be like new items, whether it's a new cymbal. I remember a hi-hat being there underneath the Christmas tree. Just being so excited getting like,
Cymbals are expensive.
they are pricey. They are pricey. But even still to this day, I love to get toys like that for
I know. What was the?
Christmas.
Oh, I didn't give you a musical toy this year?
Not. Did I not get one this year? No,
That's
not this
because
year.
you got the multi-year one the
I
year
did.
before.
Yes, correct.
I bought him a guitar.
Yeah.
She bought me a beautiful guitar. Yeah, a nice Martin the year before. That was used when we recorded our album. And so it was perfect timing. I needed a new guitar, and she happened
also like
to
this
get
element
it for
of
me.
not just because you have an acoustic guitar.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't have one that you can kind of like connect.
I had a nylon
to.
string classical guitar, and so I needed like a steel string that was acoustic electric, one I could just plug in to a mixer and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was great.
Those are dreamy.
Yes. So back to the 2 turntables and a microphone.
What'd you do with
Sans
them?
microphone. So
what did you create?
Yeah, so what did you start creating? Was it 1 turntable or did you have 2 at the time?
No, I had two, and I went into the basement and I got just the Creator Records, randoms. There was 45s on there. There was it was everything. I was mixing like Frank Sinatra with like the Beatles and Elvis Presley,
cool.
just learning. And then eventually moved on to just CDs.
That's very sophisticated for an 11-year-old. You're like, those are very like, established artists that you were kind of, interested in. How did that come about?
Well, that was the only thing we had.
Well, I was going to say, like, are you influenced by people around you and your family and the music that they listen to? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, my grandma introduced me to classical music. My mom introduced me to house music. My father introduced me to hip hop.
Wow.
And my stepfather introduced me to rock music. And then I learned all like disco and all
Wait,
that
you
stuff.
said hip hop?
Yeah.
Who, your dad introduced you to
Yeah,
hip hop? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
who was like the first hip hop artist?
Jump Around, what is his name? Cypress.
Jump Around.
Yeah. That was like
that's a great song.
Yeah.
Jump,
Yeah.
everybody, jump. I'll tell you, I was introduced to the same style of music growing up. It's crazy how like not too dissimilar. My sister introduced me to Juice Newton. My other sister introduced me to like Pink Floyd and the Grateful Dead. My cousin introduced me to Kiss. And then my parents introduced me to like Barbra Streisand.
Who got you obsessed with Rush?
So exactly the same exact artist that you grew up with. How did I get into Rush?
Yeah.
So
like you're really like you sort of like Johnson for Rush, which
you
is a little weird.
I do love Rush. I do love their music.
I think it's like a
I
weird
love Neil
man
Peart.
crush.
I love the music. So I remember when I was a kid, all of a sudden MTV had just come out. And I remember walking into our TV room. We called it a playroom, our TV room, and sitting down. All of a sudden, MTV comes up, and we're like halfway through the Rush song, Tom Sawyer at the time. I didn't know who the band was, didn't know the name of the song. Halfway through it, during kind of the bridge section, and there's a big drum fill. Ba, 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 diddle, 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 diddle. And all of a sudden, like you get to this section right here. I'm like, oh my God, it blew my mind. And I'm like, who is this? And I remember like describing it to my cousin at the time. And he told me exactly who it was, and I became a Rush fan ever since. Because I started applying those techniques to my own style of playing, and so Neil became an influence to me.
So you had like a variety of
Police.
different musicians.
Yeah.
Which one actually kind of truly like were you like, gosh, that just I want to do music?
Well, I grew up being an open format DJ, so I was always playing hip hop. Oh yeah, I missed out. My other cousin, they taught me Spanish and reggae, so I was heavily influenced on like old school reggae, some dance hall. So like that the hip hop and the reggae, that's pretty much what I played for the longest time. And then like obviously I always played house music, and now that's where my direction is going. My biggest influences, I don't know. I have a variety of music that I listen to all the time. I mean 90s hip hop, old school hip hop, KRS-One. I was DJing STK in Manhattan, and
the one on 6th Ave?
the one in the meatpacking.
Oh yeah.
The one in the
meatpacking
meatpacking.
one.
So I was DJing on the rooftop, and the manager came over to me. He's like, "I got my friend here." I'm like, "Who's your friend?" He's like, "Oh, KRS-One." I was like, "Yo, I have to meet this guy." I was like, "Can you just get me off set for like 20 minutes?" He's like, "Yeah." So I paused the music, whatever. I put a mix on actually, and I went downstairs, sat and had dinner with him for like a half hour.
That's amazing.
And what's crazy is he talks about like life stuff. Like he gets into like real like deep conversation.
He's like really like soulful.
Yeah. So he was saying this thing called rock star. Like you imagine this word, and that what you're imagining is like is what lives on when you pass away.
It manifests.
Yeah. So when I went downstairs, as I'm walking up to him, he goes, "Rock star DJ," and it just blew my mind. it just blew my mind. And then I sat down, I had a conversation with him, really good
Wow.
conversation, and I went back to DJing.
That's
It was-
amazing.
Yeah.
How about
So,
about like the modern DJs, like the Calvin Harris to David, Guetta, like all these guys. Like, are there any DJs in current kind of?
That influenced me?
Yeah.
Calvin Harris is big. Disclosure's another like DJ band. They're really good at production, and like I'm really those people. Avicii, he was really good at production.
Oh, he was so good.
Yeah, those are like my big influences.
What about like Diplo or
Diplo as a DJ? He doesn't really. I know he produces, but I've been told throughout the industry that he doesn't really make music anymore like that. He has like once they get so big, they hire these producers.
Yeah,
they just sit in.
just executive produce,
Yeah.
sit in the back. And,
Yep.
And point your finger.
Yeah, I like Diplo too.
Well, I just remember like take Roger, right? My
Yes.
business partner from Genius Entertainment. I remember when he was doing a lot with Puffy back in the day, and Bad Boy, just during Bad Boy's heyday. Puffy would book literally 6 studios at one time, maybe not show up anywhere, and everyone's kind of working, and then you just send them at the time like just CDs because you burn on CDs, or send them the hot swaps, and he'd quickly listen to it, give feedback, and then people would just go back into the studio.
Yeah,
He was too busy running a big business to, I guess, just be in the studio all the time, right? So
that's so interesting. Yeah, that's so interesting. You brought up Bad Boy. About 6 months ago, I was selling these DJ digital needles on like eBay and Facebook Marketplace.
What is a digital needle? Maybe
So
we
it's
could
instead of the actual
stylus.
yeah,
itself.
the actual stylus you put on the record, it picks it up by Wi-Fi. So I was using it for a little bit. I didn't really like it, and I put it up for like $200. I bought them for like $400, and somebody reached out to me on eBay, and then I was like, you know what? I'll sell it to somebody else, because somebody else hit me up that same day and was like, I'll buy them from you today, cash. So I didn't look at the guy's profile, and then I called him. I was like, I'll come drop him off to you. He lived by the Barclay Center. And I go there, and it turns out to be one of the biggest producers in Bad Boy. His name was Rashad Ringo.
Oh, interesting.
And it was just so like
What
ironic.
is the value of these digital needles then, right?
I was like, now we have to like record some. I'm like, this is like, I grew up to, he produced Doing It Well by LL. He produced If I Rule the World by Nas, Mary J.
Yeah, all great songs from the 90s.
Songs in Space Jam, a movie, just like so much stuff. And it was just like, I was in shock that like.
So you actually met him in
Yeah,
person?
I was hanging out with him.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with him. He's like, listen, he's an older dude, and he's like, you know what? I don't mind like helping you out. I was like, let me come sit in the studio and see what you guys do in your studio.
Wow.
And,
That's amazing.
That's great.
It's so ironic.
All because
right?
some Bluetooth styluses,
Right?
you know?
You
that
never
were
know
paid for
what-
by cash. Like,
Well, you
where-
never know
where's this
where
location I'm
eBay
going?
takes you, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
Where am I going to get this bag full of cash for these styluses?
Right?
So question though, regarding just a quick tech question, was there like, because they're Bluetooth, was there any latency or any ever issues versus just the actual needle touching the vinyl itself?
Yeah, setting it up was hectic.
Yeah, I can see
and then
that.
you have to put in a serial code. So then like when I sold it to him, he didn't have the serial code. He was DJing. He's Erykah Badu's DJ. He was doing one of the biggest golden. It might have been Golden Globe. One of those big. One of those big shows. He was using it for, and he called me up last minute. He's like, "Hey, do you have that serial number? Because it's not letting me connect." So there definitely are issues.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the challenge. So
Well, actually, that brings me to a question that I guess you sort of already answered, but like there's so much with like AI, ChatGPT, to all these different, also tech in general that's coming out for creators. Like of that, like what are you leaning into maybe now or into the near future?
I like AI. It's definitely cutting time. There are definitely different VSTs. VSTs is something you use within the production program. That
What is a VST?
I don't know the actual.
Like what does it do?
Well, it's just a plugin that you use, and you could create different sounds. There's different things that you could do within production.
Right.
Sure.
So like some VSTs, like there's a VST called Serum or Silent, and they have different sounds on them. Like you could create more bass sounds or different synths and stuff like that.
That's really cool.
So there's an AI one that literally you could put a whole song in. You could put it in Champagne Friday, and it could rip off your vocal and just use your vocal. Or just used maybe the synths within the song.
Yep.
Wow.
Sort of like what they did for the
That's so
Beatles
cool.
track that was just released, which was a cassette, right? That John Lennon had recorded, and then they partnered with James Cameron, who the director, famous movie director, who had invested all of this
I
technology.
know who James Cameron is.
I'm just making sure because it could
You
have
like
been
looked at me like I'm like a dum dum.
You might not have realized. You might have thought there's another James Cameron that's producing music. I was referring to the director.
Listen, excuse me. Titanic was my most favorite movie in 1997. How dare you?
Lost and I've heard you. I see you.
Honey, I think your talent is drumming.
You.
That's a good one.
So
That is a good one.
it's a good one, right?
Oh, my Lord.
So he had developed.
I
AI
apologize to our audience in advance for that performance.
Why? Because it's brilliant. It's like one of the best performances you were going to hear on that particular day, or potentially the rest of their lives. So back,
I love your like self confidence.
it's not.
It's
No,
like-
it's not even confidence.
It's amazing.
It's. This is just all I'm doing is reporting back what I hear.
Greg, we're gonna get you to sing that song, and we're gonna make a remix out of it. My
I'm down. I'm
heart
game.
will go on.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a great song.
It is a good
It's a
song.
great
You
song.
gotta do the Celine like effect to it.
There we go. And actually, if I pull in the R&B, you do what's called the push and the pull.
You gotta do
So
that.
here.
Oh, the push and the pull. You're doing the push and the pull.
It's called the push and the pull.
Yes.
It's a live staging technique.
Captivating.
Yes, it's captivating. It brings
I
people
mean-
in. It's all part of the dynamic.
He may actually get people to leave nightclubs if you play
I
that.
don't know. We gotta
I know because
test it out.
Of course, because they're going to leave the clubs where they are to come to the party that we're throwing at another club. That's why. Like, oh my God, got Spice and Greg. The Gregory is singing tonight. It's going to be flocking. We're going to.
Oh my God.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. Oh, there's already buzz. There's already buzz about an event that we don't even have yet. It just pinged. I just got 3, 4. We're now at 2,000 pings
Oh my gosh.
from people that want to attend this thing.
I guess he's joining you in one of your shows in
Crazy.
Brooklyn.
That's it.
I heard Tesso's gonna. Is Tesso gonna? You're gonna DJ the night, right?
Yeah, I'll
You're gonna
DJ.
mix it.
Yep.
So.
I got you.
He's gonna augment it. Maybe he might refine it.
Oh, perfect. And
Just a tad.
we're gonna release the new version of My Heart Will Go On.
That's it.
I'll perform it live.
Or
singing.
my heart will need resuscitation. Or my
My heart will resuscitate itself.
I don't even know how we went here, where you're singing when you should not be singing, honey.
I'll tell you, it just happens. Things
Okay.
like that just happen. So
I think I need to bring it back to Tesso.
Yes, but I have a question for you. So
Tesso, please take over.
yes, but no, I do have a question regarding spinning. So take go old school. Versus the IDJs, which people use in this day and age, the electronic turntables. I remember hanging out with a friend. I was probably 19 at the time. And prior, I just used to do some like party DJing, nothing where you had to really blend tracks together. And in one, like you would just blend tempo like you're at a party, like a wedding DJ. But a friend of mine was an EDM DJ. And so I one day happened to get behind his tables. He was trying to teach me actually how to do it. And it was hard. It's because you only have a few minutes to really meld these songs together in an environment where you're trying to listen to what you're doing on the tables. You're trying to listen to what's out in the room while blending everything on
Can
two
you
physical
corroborate
tables.
this?
So
this-
can you, like, is there a trick? It's difficult at first, right? Trying to get
Hell
it
yeah.
all together. And also, when you have two records playing at the same time, creating something brand new, it's not easy. It's not going from one album to the next album to the next song to the next song. You're actually mixing while one is playing. There's another potential beat or another aesthetic, another timbre that's sitting on top of that one record that's playing. That's
Yeah.
not easy to do.
Definitely not. And just being in an environment.
So he's not full of shit?
No, it's definitely it's once you get the hang of it, it's good, but it's easy. But even just being in an environment, reading a crowd, and understanding like all right, this crowd is not really
They're
feeling.
not
They're
feeling
not
it.
feeling this. So now you have to change up your whole style,
Yeah.
like of whatever you're playing.
So what's crazy is when we perform live,
Yeah, we do that.
we do that. So being the drummer in the band, like the drummer sort
I
of
give
can
him a
orchestrate
stink eye
everything.
when I'm like, stop playing this song. Then we need to move to the next.
Yeah, so like all of a sudden you'll see, is the crowd responding to something? If not, let's cut it short. Like there's signs to cut it short, or if the crowd is really digging it, let's extend it. So sometimes we'll be playing a song and I'll yell to the band, like another verse, because everyone's getting into it and they're dancing, or like extend that part and we'll go off an extension.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would be helpful if like also people's instruments don't blow up when we're performing.
Oh, that does that.
Or maybe if my feedback monitor actually ever worked when we perform live.
That's yes. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you noticed. So the last, and this isn't the first time something like this has ever happened. Like we've been on stage before with things
I have
that
like
like blown up,
PTSD from live
smoked.
performance.
Yeah.
From that night.
Yeah.
The
So
mic didn't work, right?
So the mic wasn't working properly.
Yeah, I remember
and our
that.
guitar player's amp blew up. It stopped working. Like there's smoke coming from
There
it.
was smoke coming out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like this is like a repeat thing. Remember at like the big venue that we've performed at multiple times.
Which one, Hammerstein or
Not Ziegfeld.
Ziegfeld.
They like we go through like an hour of proper sound check and everything, and every time I hit the stage, none of the feedback monitors are working, and we're singing to an audience of like 800 people, 500 people,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot hear myself, and all I hear are the instruments around me. How do I probably sound like a toad because it's like I'm trying to hear myself and sing louder too because it's like we can't hear. What goes wrong in a live DJ performance that you have some like just like you're affected by it, and maybe it's like put in like new process for yourself when you perform? Like has anything happened like that? Like from obviously I don't DJ, I'm a vocalist, but like, and he plays the drums typically when we perform live, but like shit goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like, so what has gone wrong for you, and how do you deal with that?
One time I was DJing. Had to be 1,000 people in the room, and my computer just decided to crash, and just like a blue screen came up with all Chinese writing on it, and I was like,
You were
getting hacked.
What?
Yeah, you were getting
What
hacked.
What am I gonna do? So I rebooted it. It worked for another like maybe 30 minutes. Went off again, and at this point, like I'm freaking out before, but at the second time, I was like, all right, well, it is what it is. I'm like on the mic. I'll like say something silly, like no music, get people like to start clapping and stuff like that. But you're in a bad position. Another time, I used to use external hard drives. And I would plug my hard drive into the computer, and it was a thing called rolling over. So like if another DJ's playing, it's an effect on the mix. So you roll over, and you could pull out the plug, and the music on the other person's computer still makes sound. So you're able to put your computer into the.
It's like cached.
Yeah.
So
as I'm rolling out for this other DJ that didn't know how to do it, he picks up my laptop, and my externals attached to it, and he drops it. 50,000 songs I lose.
Oh my God.
I had an external at home.
Yeah.
Had 25,000, but I lost 25,000 songs.
Oh my God, that's so awful.
When was this? Because was this in the era where you had to buy individual songs? Because now you can just get an Apple account and you have access to everything, right? So this was the era of buying individual songs, or are these your own songs that you mix together?
No, I used to use LimeWire.
So you're one of those.
Yeah,
I see.
LimeWire.
Just don't let Metallica hear. They may call us after the show.
They're like one of our biggest viewers.
Yes, I know they are. Lars just loves us.
Yeah,
He
totally.
calls in all the time.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
That's great.
He wants to feature his artwork on our show
You know
one day.
he's FOS, Greg.
What? FOS.
A new word for him.
What's FOS? Like factual, like factually obtuse.
Let's see how you like.
Synchronatic.
That's it.
Full of shit.
Whoa. That's messed up. So, but talking about issues, DJing. So there's technological issues like you just talked about.
Yeah.
And then you talked about basically what some like radio DJs will call the bathroom break song, which is kind of when they used to put on Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven because it's so long that they could then use the restroom, then come back.
Yeah.
You sort of did the same thing when you went to go sit down and chat with KRS-One. But another issue that I remember back from my DJ party days, which is when you're dealing with just real turntables, is depending on where you are and how stable the tables that you're DJing on, as well as the audience, if they're dancing, the whole room can shake. And so you're sitting there like trying to keep the needles from bouncing up and down and skipping
Been there
on the
1,000
albums.
times.
Right? That's also
Well,
a challenge.
I've actually seen you've DJ'd some massive outdoor like beach parties and stuff, it looks like. And I think one of them almost looks like this huge pool party at like in a Vegas environment or like a casino environment.
Oh, that was in Cancun.
Oh, that looked massive.
Yeah, I was resident out in Cancun for spring break for about 4 or 5 years.
That must have been a blast.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, tell us
those
about
are the
spring
places
break
you've
in
gotten to
Cancun.
Travel while you can like enjoy your craft.
Yeah, so I worked with some guys out in Long Island, and they ended up starting to like host some parties out in Cancun. Got in contact with them. I'm like, get me on board, and they ended up flying me out there every year. I started off on Labor Day weekend, probably like 2014, 15. And I was out there for like 3-4 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah. It was
So wait,
Was it just
you
one
went
big
out
party?
there once a year, or you like stayed in Mexico?
no, yeah. Just I was there for like twice. Yeah, I was
That's
just there for twice a
amazing
year, but
still.
for a whole week
Yeah.
for free and getting paid.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
and I was
Flight.
like, really, you're only DJing once a day, right? At best.
A couple times they'd schedule like they'd schedule for like a brunch party or an early party, and
Okay.
then like a day pool party, and then you DJ at night. I DJ'd in every club on the strip: Mandela Beach, the City, La Banquita,
That sounds exciting.
Coco Bongo.
Coco Bongo.
We've been to Coco Bongo.
Oh, we have
Yes.
actually. Yes, Coco Bongo.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like the nightclub there.
Yeah,
Yes, we've been there. That's a long time
I think
ago.
they get bands there too. Don't they get bands too?
Yeah.
Live bands and DJs.
Yeah, yeah.
So when
We're
you
going to
typically
go into the details of Coco Bongo.
Yes, Coco Mono. So when you typically DJ a set, is there a like so as a band you might get contracted for an hour and 15, hour and 30 minute set. What's an average set in which you DJ for?
I've DJ'd anything from an hour to marathon set. We call marathon sets like 12 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like
How?
there's certain
How
places.
can you physically do a 12-hour marathon
Yeah,
DJ
yeah.
experience?
I was used to DJ at a bunch of places in the city, and they would hire us for like a St. Patty's Day. They'll say come in at 3:00 in the afternoon. Now I'm staying till 4 a.m.
Wow.
So like what I initially would do, I would play like a 4-hour set in the beginning, and then the crowd changes and play that same set over twice.
Oh, I was just gonna ask. So as a band, you have a set list that you go in and you play, and you may on the fly change the order of that. Yes, unless you have visuals and graphics set up for it. But as a DJ, one thing I learned really early in age is when trying to DJ parties is you really have to know music. You have to know the wide variety of music that you can play, what blends, and really the ride that you take people on, because you're not going to go from a slow song right to a fast song. You take them on this kind of journey. So when you're DJing, how much of it is pre-planned that you've set up in advance, and how much of it is on the fly? It's like, wait, I've got 60 seconds to figure out my next song and search through my database of 50,000 songs, or have an idea of what I'm going to do, and make sure that section of that song cues up perfectly to where the other song is going to be an outro.
So what I really do is I play on the fly, but I've been playing on the fly for so long is that I could look at a crowd and say, okay, this is this type of crowd. I know what is going to work for them. So like certain songs will work for a reggae crowd. Certain songs will work just depending on the people who walk in. But it's
What artist won't you play?
For a while I didn't play R. Kelly. I'll be
Oh,
honest.
yeah. Well, because of his pervy story.
Yeah, I didn't play him
Same
for a
thing with
while.
Michael Jackson.
I play, yeah. I mean, Michael Jackson, same thing. I did play Michael Jackson, but for the short time when everything was going on with
Like
him
he was
for a
in the
while.
media.
Yeah, I cut him out. A few
Yeah.
people actually came up to me and like, I played a song one night and like, why are you playing this? I'm like, all right, I guess for now I won't play it because I still respect his music. He made
Sure.
phenomenal music, but he's not.
He's
good.
messed up in the
Yeah,
head.
he's
Yeah.
not-
I mean, someone else who's extremely controversial right now, who's also considered a genius in music, Kanye West. right?
Yeah.
He's a wacko.
He's one of my favorite.
You know?
One of my favorite.
But he has great music, but he's a wacko.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite producers. He influenced hip hop so much that people don't even realize all the stuff that he produced, like that nobody even talks about. There's like Keisha Cole songs. He made songs with Dipset. Like I'm a Kanye fan, but you know he knows how to market people. Yep. He knows what he's doing, and that's.
Well, he is a marketer.
Yeah, that's why he's a billionaire.
Successful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And doing. He knows how to get to the top, and he knows what to do at the top to just bring it right back down.
Yeah. Well, so like it seems like, look, not to create a correlation or comparison, but like I work in financial services as my day job, and I'm always thinking about like, how do you differentiate what we do when it's like very commoditized in terms of like the products that we offer the world and the market. DJs have come up, like a lot of DJs have popped up, especially with, I think, access to technology has become easier for today's talent versus 20 years ago or 40 years ago, right?
So many. Yeah.
So in your world, how do you look at differentiating your product and who you are? Like, it's hard, right? Like, how do you say hire me over like that other DJ that's out there?
I have a saying, you know, before you talk shit, shake my hand, and I'll show you who I am as a person, rather than, you know, a lot of people put on acts, they try to follow. I want to be like a TESO. I want to be a James Hype. Sure. I want to be like these people.
Yeah.
But if you're just authentically you, I mean, nothing better or beats that.
So
Tiesto.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's like the perfect segue, because you're talking business and you just mentioned Tiesto, and of course the first thing that comes to mind, let's get down to business. Let's get down, let's get
this
down to business.
This is the episode where Greg sings and every other
remixing that one too.
We're remixing that one.
We could put it out as covers, and they call it our original.
Exactly.
That's it.
Boom, done. That's true. As long as we technically re-record everything, we can put it out there. 100%. And it's an original work. Yes.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's get down. Let's get down to business.
Okay, so like I will just say, speaking of business, you have many other things going on in your life, right?
Yeah.
So obviously making music and producing albums. I noticed that you had some new singles come out. I think like you want to talk a little bit about that. We'd love to hear about it. I saw you promoting some new pieces of your own.
This new remix that's coming out.
I entered
outside of the remix. He's got other things.
I know.
I entered a remix contest, which I didn't win, but I just thought the song was really good. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna release it. And I have a few songs for a while. I made a couple tracks within the last year, and I wasn't sure if I could use it or not. So I brought it to some other producers. Like, hey, if you could use this sample and put it out as an original. So I'm gonna be releasing some stuff soon.
That's amazing. Yeah. What do you know what you're going to be calling? Is it like a full album or an EP? Or
I might do an EP. So right now I worked on an Afro tech track, Afro tech house music track.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
We sampled Dirty Wine by Tony Mataran. I'm trying to actually get him as a feature on it. I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to email him probably within this week.
That's very exciting.
Cool. And I have that song, and I sampled another song by David Banner, and I'm going to send that into a record label, see if I could sign that as an EP. Then I have another song I made. It's called Mine, that I'm going to end up releasing soon. I have a whole catalog that I'm definitely...
Well, definitely send us these, different songs.
Yeah,
because we'd love to like throw it into this this episode too, and get it out there for people to enjoy and get to like absorb your talent. And so like you're really busy doing all this stuff, but I understand when we had just a catch-up conversation several weeks ago that you're also busy doing something else, and it might be you went into business with your mom.
Yep.
What is that like? Going into business with family is always precarious, right?
Yeah. It's called Red's Hot Dog Stand. We're located on Staten Island on Arthur Kill Road, 2777 Arthur Kill Road. And me and my mom are inseparable. I could show you. I have a tattoo actually.
Oh,
my wrist. I'll show you after. We both have matching tattoos.
That's so cute.
Cool. Is that why your mom's hair is red for the red stand?
Yeah, that's why we named it that. So
okay.
Originally, my mom worked on Wall Street,
Mm-hmm.
and she was in the stock market, and then she ended up having a bunch of other jobs in between, leaving there. And then my uncle had this food truck that everybody used to go to. This food truck's been around for 40 years, and I used to go. My mom used to go to it. It was in Brooklyn. Right around the block from us. Some old guy owned it, and it was just the hot dog truck.
The staple
everybody
food truck that everybody loved.
Yeah, everybody went to. And my uncle ended up buying it off for him, and then his son, my cousin, ended up getting cancer. So he gave. We bought the truck. He didn't give it to us. We bought the truck off of him, and then we've had it for the last about 6 years.
And how tell us what's special about this food truck?
Well, we carry so much stuff. It's me and my mom. My mom's a character, and
I've seen in some of your shorts. She looks like
the Instagram shorts.
a very entertaining woman.
She's got a personality, and I built our presence on social media. I said, "Mom, we're gonna it's a food truck." At first, when she opened it, she's like, "All right, we just got a hot dog stand." I said, "No, it's not just a hot dog stand. We're gonna turn this into something that we could really blow up with."
Yeah.
I'm like, especially on social media, I'm like, I'm just gonna start putting it out. Turns out, we had Barstool Sports come put us on Barstool Sports. We were in all the news articles, Staten Island Live, Staten Island Events, and and we go to other. We have shows that we go to, and.
So you take the truck out to different events and shows. Okay, very cool.
That's awesome.
That's a great. I mean, I just know when we come out of a concert, I'm always hungry. I'm like, I could go for. We always typically go for a slice of pizza or something, or because you don't eat meat, right? So or else we'd hit the. I love hot dogs.
If you made a vegan dog, I would have that.
We have knishes.
Oh, I love knishes.
We have knishes.
But I love a hot dog, like a chili, melted mozzarella, onion, on. What'd you say? On a soubrette,
onion.
Natural skin casing soubrette.
That's what we got.
Pops.
Of course.
Oh, it's so good.
If it ain't soubrette, you gotta forget it.
Yes. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, I think I read, and if correct me if I'm wrong, Tesso, there's special toppings, right? That are very unique to your mom's truck.
Yeah. So we have I don't even know the amount. There's a lot. What we're known for are these spicy onions.
Oh.
And everything's homemade.
What does she do to make it spicy? Like serrano peppers or?
She won't tell me the recipe.
Pepperoncino?
Oh, she doesn't tell you the recipe.
Oh, even you don't know.
You guys are business partners here.
Yeah, she doesn't disclose.
You guys even have matching tattoos, but you don't know the recipe.
I always tell her, I'm like, God forbid something happens to you. I gotta carry this legacy on. She said, "Yeah, I'll tell you."
She's like, "Don't worry, it's in the safe. The
It's
recipe is in the safe
in
deposit
a special
box."
document.
Yes.
So we got chili, the basic topping, sauerkraut, all the mustards. We just added hot honey to the menu. We added a loaded baked potato. My mom calls it a bro-tato because there's all bros on Staten Island. And
they should feature Got Spice hot sauce.
Oh, yeah.
We have our own line of hot sauce.
We actually make our own hot sauce.
Yeah, with habaneros,
we make a
chocolate
habanero-based
ghost, and pepper.
Seriously, give it to us. We'll definitely.
We actually have a jar upstairs. We could put it into smaller jars.
Sure, we love trying out different sauces.
And it's healthy. It's the reason why Kirti started making this hot sauce is because I love hot sauce, and I was eating literally a full jar at a single sitting. She's like, you know how much sodium and the vinegar and how bad that is for you? And
I was just trying to make it healthy.
Hereditarily, I have high blood pressure, which is gone away, which is tremendous. So she started making this version of hot sauce that was healthy, a healthy version of hot sauce. And we eat that
some folks that have talked to us about using it, they want to take because it's spicy. It's made of habaneros.
Yeah.
So you can cut it with a little bit of sour cream and drizzle it on,
That's
or you
awesome.
could you know what I mean. You could cut it in different ways, or you could put it a tablespoon on the base of a pasta dish and throw some olive oil on it. And now you've got a different version of a spicy al dente spicy pasta
and when we
sauce,
make it before it turns into a hot sauce, the way that it's basically originally baked, we put extra olive oil in there. So then we strain that out. So then there's the oil version, which you can dip bread in. You can put it into salad, put it into any pasta, and then we have the actual hot sauce version itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we
sounds
could
good.
totally send you home with a little batch. You could
For
tell us
sure.
if you like
Yeah.
For
it.
sure. My mom would be so happy.
Yeah, and we're trying to actually, there's like a commercial kitchen we're trying to get connected to because I just don't have capacity to make it in high volume. And when we, restaurants have asked us for it, they want gallons. And that will blow my eyes off.
Yeah.
So
You gotta get.
And we
you
can
gotta
make a
get-
vegan and non-vegan version too, the way
yeah.
that it's made. So that way it could
Yeah.
sit out on a table all day if it needs to.
yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
can
I
make the
actually, I told my mom, I said we should get some like a vegan hot dog.
absolutely.
But we have
so many good options
we
out
have
there.
I was gonna say I'm gonna probably disagree. I've not seen a good vegan.
No,
hot
there's
dog.
there's better options than like 2 years ago when we tried that. Remember that brand that
disgusting
Pre got?
nasty one.
It tasted like cardboard.
I just remember
but
we were at
no.
a hot dog vendor one day.
You know what
and
I
it
would
wasn't
like?
very
I'm a
good.
chickatarian actually, and they don't
You
make.
do chicken dogs.
Yeah, but my problem is I can't eat them out except for when we get them or make them because I don't eat pork casing. And so like I don't know why they put it in the pork
That is
casing.
so true.
So I need one that's just purely chicken, right?
Yeah.
There's
Like,
very
and-
few that are not in a pork casing. We always have to look
Yeah.
in the fine print to see.
Yeah.
It kind of defeats the purpose when they're like doing something for those that are
Like we don't eat pork,
Do
but
not
you,
eat
like we
pork
want to
or-
eat chicken, and
Yeah.
it's like, but
Yeah, it's
why'd you
pork
put it?
casing.
Is
pork
that
casing
is
on it?
that just because you don't like it, or is that because of
well,
religion?
so I'm Hindu,
Yeah.
and I grew up vegetarian, and then ultimately, like my mom and uncle and stuff when I was younger, they definitely like you start to travel and eat other things.
Yeah.
They exposed me to eating like Indian chicken kebabs, which are amazing, and they like melt in your mouth like deliciousness. But like, there's no other way for me to describe like how happy they make me. But like, chicken was the thing I was introduced to, and then ultimately I was introduced to like some shrimp along the way. But like a part of our religion, supposedly we're not supposed to eat like any cow. So I don't eat any red meat.
Okay.
And then when I've tried to eat pepperoni growing up, which I was like, oh, I like spicy food. Like I want pepperoni pizza. I like think I am allergic to eating pork or those other meats because I literally go into projectile vomiting.
I love a pepperoni pizza.
I can't.
Oh, it's so good.
It was like, I still remember I was actually at my dad's sister's house in New Jersey. And all my cousins were like, we're going to have pepperoni pizza. We're going to order in pizza.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a part of like the male, where you have all male cousins outside of me and my two sisters. All our cousins are predominantly boys. And so I was like, I want to have pepperoni pizza too, with like my cousins. And I think I was like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And I remember like eating a slice of it and it like destroyed me.
Ooh.
Like the way you saw
Your-
me with oysters.
Yeah, and your stomach just your body
Yeah,
wasn't
you
used
can
to it.
accept it.
Yeah.
I'm very pure, Tesso.
Yeah.
I can only eat the cleanest, most unprocessed foods, apparently.
She
Yeah.
can only be
Likewise.
adorned in jewels and wear
I can only wear real
unprocessed
gold.
foods.
Also, that is true, actually. I cannot put fake jewelry against
The average
my
person
skin.
Oh, it
would
turns
not.
green?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the average
me too.
person.
I get a rash.
Yeah, me too.
The
I
average
see
person.
We're just purists.
Yeah, it's pure. That's it.
The average person would just probably call it high maintenance.
It's not high
Bougie?
maintenance.
Bougie.
Listen, I like to just say I appreciate the finer things in life,
Oh,
and I work hard for it.
I know you do. You work very hard.
So it's
So,
okay.
Yeah, so get back to work. Start working it.
Tomorrow's a work day.
Yes.
I will be at work.
So Tesso, I have a question though. So your mom, so do you prep everything at home and then bring it to the truck, or is anything ever prepared in the truck?
Yeah, just, everything's prepared besides the hot dogs and
Yeah.
the hot sausage and the knishes. Well, we heat the knishes up at the house and then we put them in an oven. We have an oven there. We keep everything in the oven.
Very nice.
Wow.
Very
That's a
cool.
lot of work.
That is. We're open for like 5 hours, but then she's going home and she's cooking from
For prepping
the
for
eight,
the next
eight,
day.
eight to 12.
Oh my
but,
God.
you know, batching stuff up, cutting onions.
So what do you guys do to promote the business? How do you promote it? Like,
We're using Facebook and Instagram at Red's Hot Dog Stand.
oh wow.
And you guys are there predominantly Monday through Friday, right?
Yeah.
And then what hours?
11 to 5. Now, as it's staying lighter out, we stay longer.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
During the winter, you know, that route is all truckers.
Have you ever tried to park like near Tottenville High School with like, cause it's got like 1,000 kids per class now, I think, or something crazy.
No.
Like all these high schoolers
Oh,
wouldn't.
pull up with it? Or we can't.
Yeah.
We don't have that license
to be around
Yeah,
school
you
areas?
need a citywide license. You could apply for it and get it, but it takes like a very long time, or you could pay like $20K under the table and get the license.
Yeah.
So how about like siblings? Do you have siblings? Like what's the situation here? Is it just you and your mom?
So I'm an only child. I'm born an only child. I have a stepsister.
Okay.
And
I have a stepdaughter. So I have a brown child.
Me too.
Who's mine. And then I have a white child who's his.
Yes.
So we both have two.
We are
girls that
a
together.
blended family.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
You know,
That-
there's
that we
something
are.
borrowed, something stolen,
You know,
something, proprietary.
something found, something.
Yeah. All of that jazz
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
happening here.
It-
Which, how about I like to creep into
Personal lives.
love life.
Yes. You
What?
mentioned. I heard. I
What
heard him mentioning
warms
before.
up Tesso's
Yes.
heart? That's what I
Yeah.
want to know.
my
He's-
lovely Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Yes.
All right. So
Tell us
let's-
all about Jennifer.
Yes. Who is Jennifer? Does
I
Jennifer?
think I saw. Did you do like a small reel with her in the car
Recently.
where you were eating
Oh.
a sandwich? I think.
Oh, that
Ooh.
that was when I.
Am I on point?
Yeah. When I
See, my
tried,
memory's not so bad.
I tried for the first time a Philly cheese. There's Philly cheesesteaks in Brooklyn, but the first time I drove out to Philly and got a cheesesteak.
Okay, I want to hear your
Ooh.
assessment of it.
Yes. We were just having a debate, I think, internally with the family about cheesesteaks one
Yeah.
day.
Oh, it's bullshit.
Right?
It's bullshit.
It's like gross processed cheese that
Yeah.
they whiz all
like
over
Cheese
it,
Whiz, right? They
literally.
put
There,
on
there,
there
are
and-
some good legit spots if you go
Yeah.
all, like the two main spots. Those are like commercialized, but if you what's it called? You go off the grid a little bit. You could find some good ones. I've
Yeah.
heard. I've tried
Yeah.
a few of them, but
I forget what's the
It's not- I don't
famous
think it's
one.
worth-
I went to a famous one and I got
Yeah.
the chicken because they make a chicken cheesesteak.
yeah, I've
for
gotten
li-
that.
And then it was not very good.
Mm.
And they told me, oh, it's because you got chicken instead of the steak. And I was like, I don't know though.
Yeah.
You haven't been excited by it.
About the chicken?
Like, no, the
cheesesteaks?
Philly cheesesteak.
Oh
The-
yeah, well it depends. So I'm particular on my cheesesteak sandwiches.
But it's
I
also
don't.
the bread.
It's
I think I
to
didn't
me
like the
a
bread.
big piece. Like one, depending on how it's made. The bread is kind of number one. The flavor, the density, everything of that nature
All
of
about
the
the
bread. Then the next is the steak. Is it shaved, which is sometimes nice, or is it just like thin pieces? What I can't stand is when you get thick pieces of tough meat and there's like grizzle in there and it's like
Yeah, I hate
gross.
that.
I can't stand that.
can't stand
I
that.
want
Sounds
to be able
gross.
to bite through something that's cheesy, creamy. So I love like the onions
Is the
in there.
grizzle
I love
lamb bone?
Extra
I mean,
man bone. Is that what you said?
man bone, lamb bone, cow bone.
Yeah, yeah. It's they hired Jeffrey Dahmer and they ship in man bone.
A little
It's bone
Dahmer.
marrow. Although bone
It's a
marrow,
Dahmer delight.
It's good for you.
although bone marrow is good for you. And by
Yeah.
the way, have you had bone marrow?
I've
Bone
tried
marrow
it.
is great.
I've tried it.
Yeah, bone marrow. I remember one night being at a restaurant. We kept ordering bone marrow like plate after plate after plate. It was crazy.
That was
It was
disgusting.
so good. It was coming
Sound
on these
like
like
a-
long boats.
Listen,
It was flavorful.
that is the food of cavemen.
No, it's not. It's the food of very prominent, domesticated.
That's his version of bougie.
Yeah, that's bougie.
It is bougie. It's like I remember sitting down.
It's very
I think
royal.
I think it was at like Blue Ribbon,
Yes.
and I was like at like a work thing, like where I was
Mm-hmm.
at this meal, and I did not order anything but like vegetarian options there, or even at the time I was at least eating tuna. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll have like a spicy tuna roll or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they put this long white thing in front of me, and it was like this with like this tiny little scraping spoon, and I was like, what is this disgusting
A
thing?
long white thing with a tiny scraping spoon.
Yeah. And I had to apparently
I'm trying to envision this right now.
Yeah, it was like this
I'm almost scared.
it looked like a Flintstone food. Like they sat it in front of me, and I'm like, who ordered this? I didn't order this.
Uh-huh.
And
Was it a boner?
It was a very large bone, for sure. And apparently, it was the bone marrow business because they were like, take this and just dig in and eat it out. I'm like, I like died.
for
I
you.
died. I
helps
was
you
like,
produce
take
blood.
this away from me. Who ordered this and
Yeah.
put this in front of
It
me?
does a body good.
Yeah.
It was disgusting.
It's like having chocolate milk.
I have the same thing about Korean barbecue. I just think it's wild. You go there, you pay money to cook your own food.
Mm-hmm.
I can just do that.
put
at
it
home.
on
I
top
can
of a
just
little
go
grill.
home and do the same exact thing.
Little fondue.
It's like, can't we pay like a quarter
And
of
I
the
don't
price?
even know what it is. They just
Yeah.
come out and they're just handing me things.
And it's all these
Yeah.
tiny, tiny little things. And it's
Yeah.
like, eat it. I'm like, isn't that one moving?
Yeah, they get
I think
offended
it's
too.
moving.
Well, maybe that's an idea for the food truck. It's like that's part of the experience. You pay us to cook your own food. Just you get in the truck, you get people in line.
You
they
set
do
up
it.
grills outside
You
the
set up grills
truck.
up.
I went to it. So I was in where was I? I was in Nashville a couple years ago, and I was in some like museum park, and there was a guy with a hot dog truck, and he had his hot dog truck, and then he had a table full of like condiments. So he literally just throws the hot dog in the bun, and you got to go and do everything yourself. I was like,
I can't
Literally-
stand when you
literally
have
First
your
of
own
all, I
condiments.
don't like communal food.
Yeah.
Like someone touching something and then me
Also, those
touching
stations
it.
always look gross.
So nasty.
Right? Because you never like
Gross.
something falls in there
Yeah.
or something. It's like there's ketchup in the relish
Yeah.
or there's God knows whatever else is in there. It's
Oh
like no.
God,
Yeah,
so
no.
gross.
I'm not into that.
But so, I mean, can we move away from gross? I'm
Yeah.
curious about how Tesso picked up his lady.
Oh yeah, let's go back to the.
I want the lady
let's go back to
story.
the
She
to
picked
the,
me
the
up.
GF
Oh,
situation. If she
wait.
picked-
Okay, I like her
Was it
already.
at a DJ gig? Were you like
no,
spinning?
she
Yeah, I
picked
was.
him up.
See?
I was.
Oh, that's
I was.
That's what happens.
She came up to me. She
Us
liked
musicians.
me, and
But don't a lot of girls come up to you?
yeah.
Yeah.
So there was something clearly special about this.
Yeah,
girl.
so we ended up talking for a short time,
Mm-hmm.
and then she ended up dating somebody else for 2 years.
Wow.
Oh,
And then one day I just slid in her DMs and like Snapchat.
you
or something.
slid in a DM.
Yeah.
That just
Slid
sounded
in a
really.
DM.
That's like dirty DM
I
talk.
know.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
slid in a
Oh, no, it was
DM.
Snapchat. I slid in. Yeah, I slid in her
Wait,
Snapchat.
it's worse. It's
I
Snapchat.
Yeah.
Exactly. It disappears.
It disappeared.
Whoa. You slid it in and it disappeared? Wait, what's
That
going
sounds
on
a
here?
little bit lackluster
Yes.
to me.
Yeah.
So
I
what's
mean,
the
I don't
DM
want it
stand
to
for then?
disappear.
It's like, whoa. My mind can go in like 10,000 areas with this one.
I
So
know. Like we got to keep you contained. Greg.
I know it's quite hard to do. Remember, I'm FOS.
Yes. The FOS and Greg can go in many different
the
directions.
FOS can just go anywhere. My
So,
mind is
okay,
blown.
so she came up
So
to you.
Jennifer.
And did she like bat her eyes at you? Like what happened? Like, come on, give us the juice.
Yeah, how did she beat out all the other
Spill
women
the
in
tea.
line?
Spill
Honestly,
the tea, Tesso.
She says that I was like very like I wasn't giving her like any attention back.
Ooh, I've heard that works.
And
She wants the
then-
cockiness. She's
Yeah,
drawn to
She
that.
liked that, and then and that was it. I mean, then a couple years later, I hit her up. I said, "Let's go on a date." And then
Oh, this was the DM slide.
yeah.
The
Okay.
DM slide.
And then 3 months in, she moved into my apartment in Brooklyn,
Wow.
and now we're
You guys went on a fast
3
track.
months.
Yeah, 3 months.
So now how long is the relationship been?
6 years next
6
month.
years. Wow.
And are there going to be any like dun, 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 dun,
Right now, we're gonna like we rather have a kid before we have marriage.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's not traditional, but that's what,
That's all right. We're not very
Wait,
traditional.
I want. Well, clearly we're not. But like, what is the? I just want to understand the reasoning. Like, what's your thought process? there?
because we just see that it's just a ton of money, wasted money that we could be investing in like a house or something, just something else.
Oh
that-
yeah. Weddings are
Right?
like such a
Yeah,
waste of
it's-
money.
Like
Well,
we could go to city hall, get married, and that's it. She's not a big fancy like ring person stuff like that, which I got lucky with. And
By the way, I did not ask for this ring either.
Yeah.
He went and got this ring.
well, that's beautiful though.
I know it is a beauty.
Bling bling.
Bling. Well,
He spoils me.
She deserves some bling.
That's great.
For all the other pain.
For all the other pain. There's no pain. What are you talking about?
You know what? It's like an investment.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
For the it's an investment.
I'm an investment.
I know. Yeah, you're right. I bought you. So okay,
is
so
going in
now
the
so you're
wrong
talking. So
direction.
so you're together now for 6 years.
Yeah.
You're thinking kid before marriage.
Yeah.
Are you thinking like kid anytime soon, or is that down the road at some point?
Possibly within the next year.
Okay.
Oh my gosh,
Very
that's
cool.
so exciting. And she's residing with you here in Staten Island then? But before you guys were in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We live directly next door to my mom.
Oh, very cool.
So my mom's been out here 8 years, and the lady next door had a vacant house for like 2 years. So my grandma had passed away, and we were looking to go move into the city because I was doing a lot of work in the city. And I was like, you know what? We have a whole house. So we rent out a whole house. And now we're directly next door, and whenever we decide to have the kid, we could just drop the kid off next door.
Yeah, I mean,
That's true,
the kid can make hot dog toppings too with
Yep.
grandma.
That's true.
Get him start him young.
Watch, your child will get the recipe more than likely before you do. So you'd have to turn your kid into a spy.
Well, I have a question. Like, how is it in terms of like you guys starting your life in Brooklyn and then saying, "Hey, let's move to Staten Island, with like do this thing"? Like, how was
that?
Yeah, like, it's a change,
She
right?
didn't want to. She didn't want to move.
I don't blame
so
her.
she came from Maryland.
Yeah.
And then she lived in Harlem. She went to school in the city. And then she came to Brooklyn. And then I was like, we're going to go to Staten Island. Staten Island is more suburbs. It's more like how she grew up. And at first she didn't want to do that because she felt like she was leaving New York.
Yeah.
And now we love it.
Yep.
And does she still work in the city also then?
Yeah, she works in the city, but now she works. Now she's at home 4 days a week. She can
Oh,
work
nice.
from
So
home.
she can work from home.
Yeah, 4 days a week.
That's
She's a
great.
planner for like a fashion in the fashion industry.
Very
Oh.
cool.
Yeah.
So
Do you
does
have
she
her-
do anything like fashion wise with like your
Yeah, I was
outfits
going to
and
say,
stuff?
does she do anything? Does she like style you at
She
all?
tries to take credit, but I was already fashionable before.
you're your own fashionista.
Don't forget, he
Yeah.
was brushing her off at first, so she's learning from him, right?
She liked my hat, and I had a hat and sneakers. It was a leopard.
That's also
hat.
your logo, correct?
Yeah, this is my logo.
It's a very cool logo.
Yeah,
I like
thank
the
you.
logo.
The Tesso logo. So talking about family and talking about food, something kind of bringing it together, and it didn't dawn on me. Tesso started telling me a little bit of a story earlier. And I said, wait, hold on. I'd love to bring it on to the show.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until about 10 minutes ago when I was just thinking about it, as we're talking about family and food, maybe about how sometimes things are connected on maybe a cerebral, spiritual, whatever level. But he started telling a story, and it dawned on me yesterday. I happened to eat for the first time in a while something that is meaningful to you. I happened to eat, because your mom had it right next to the sink, were blueberries. I happened to eat blueberries yesterday, and here Danny starts telling a story, which I'm going to let him talk about briefly, but there's significance behind the blueberries. But I think it's really kind of interesting that I happen to have blueberries just yesterday. So, Danny, I'm going to have you talk about this story because I think
Do I not buy enough blueberries?
We might not. No, because we buy typically melon
No,
and or
I
other
buy
fruits.
blueberries for Kieran. She's a huge blueberry eater.
Yep, maybe the frozen ones for when she does like shakes, but we haven't had fresh blueberries in a little
I'm
while.
so
in the
sorry to
household.
deprive you of your.
It's okay.
your
I can
blueberries.
see it in my eyesight.
This
It's
is
starting to
a-
diminish because I'm lacking in eating
This
blueberries.
explains your brain cell power.
I know. That's why I've been excelling in many other degrees from the other fruits and vegetables that I've been eating on a regular
Well, you've
basis.
clearly triggered a grocery item for
Yes,
him.
a grocery
so-
item
good.
that
Well, you're
needs to
welcome.
be fulfilled.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So part of Danny moving back to Staten Island and him living literally only about 4 minutes away from here. He was saying he could walk here, but then there was also a spot that he used to run. But I'd love to hear about your grandma, right? Because she was influential to your mom's obviously very influential to you. So I'd just love to hear this story though about you, kind of the closeness you had with your grandma and what you used to call her, and the area where you run.
Yeah. So when I first got onto Instagram, I started to like make these videos about just me and my grandma. I would just tease her. I would call her the pillow queen. I would stack 1,000 pillows and then walk in the room as if she's already had all the pillows around. I'm like, what is this? She would wear a red shirt. I would call her Kool-Aid. She would wear a blue shirt, a big shirt. I would call her the blueberry. I had all these nicknames. So now all these people started to just follow me just because of her. Mm-hmm. So we had this little thing going on for a really long time. And after she passed away, I moved out here, and down the street where the water is, that area is actually called Blueberry Park.
Yes, it is.
And when
That's
I
where
was
we go power walking.
Mm-hmm. Is that near Seagal, where Seagal used to live?
Yeah, it's like down where like that whole waterfront area where we go like
yeah,
walking.
and that's where I run. And
Oh.
I run from my house all the way down to the water. And
Yeah,
back.
that's a beautiful spot.
It's like about a 3 mile run back and forth. And
Blueberry.
Blueberry Park. And when I ran over there for
Things
the
come in
first time,
threes, and
Yeah,
here I
and
am
that's
growing
like,
blueberries
you know,
just
the
yesterday, and
trees
we're talking
there.
about today.
I'm like, what are these unedible blueberries that are always fallen all over that park too?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I remember taking Kieran, my daughter there, whenever we visit here, I would take her walking and then she would play in like that little playground there when she was smaller. And she'd ask me like, can I eat these blueberries? I'm like, no, those look poisonous. But you know, it's called Blueberry Park
Yeah.
for that reason.
yeah.
That's so cute.
It's not like red screamers. So back in the day, like when I was a camper and just always kind of in the woods, we were always taught to look out for red screamers, as they were called, like the little red berries. They'll just make you sick. Yeah, we call them red screamers.
These all sound violent.
I think there could be violent projectile vomiting. Oh. Probably that would take place if you were.
So it's good if you like need an immediate like cleansing. Mm. Yeah.
Oh, it's part of the cleanse. So
that's a new fad. You just eat.
Some people take Ozempic.
Eat
we eat poisonous berries.
You will cleanse.
Just yak your face
That's
up.
right.
Poison and cleanse. Yeah. So no, I just thought it was crazy.
No, that's kind of funny.
how it
And
brought it
also,
all together.
I've taken you there all the time.
Yeah. That's where we have a great picture of me with a horseshoe crab.
Yes, on the beach.
I love.
I love. I go down there when it's low tide. I'll walk down, walk on the water after running and stuff like that.
That water looks gross. So.
Yeah.
I
How often do you
I would not
work
go
out?
barefoot in that water.
I'm working out at least 6 days a week.
6 days. Nice.
Yeah, I'm running. I'm doing endurance training. I'm right now. I'm training. I was training for a marathon, but I didn't get in. So I'm doing a half marathon Spartan. It's called the Beast. So you're running up mountains doing like these 30 obstacles.
Oh my God.
I'll be doing it next month.
Which marathon were you?
I wanted to run. First, I was going to run the Brooklyn half, and then I wanted to
do the New York City.
Do the real.
Do you need to technically to run that? You have to
qualify.
You have to qualify, but have run X amount of races prior, right?
Like
as part
four
of the
4 or 5 races prior.
So I'm assuming you're trying to get that latter half because you're exceptionally physically fit, right?
Yeah.
So it's more about getting those races under your
belt to do it.
Well, so we actually we've loved having you here. Is there anything you want to like talk about that we didn't get to cover about you?
Not that. That was pretty much. We could talk about. Well, let's see.
I'd love to, as we're talking, because you're working out 6 days a week.
I can tell you why.
Food truck.
Yeah, I can tell you why I started to like train. I was in a really bad car accident.
So it's really interesting. So I'm just trying to figure out how you fit everything into your day. And so there's a couple questions that I have for you. Because you're working out 6 days a week, you have the food truck, which is basically this full-time business during the week. Then you're also DJing, and then you're also producing and writing songs. So the producing and writing songs I want to get into.
He's not
next.
busy.
No, he's not busy at all. And so we're talking about the hustle, the side hustle.
We're not even including. Wait, and he's
hustle.
Also like a good boyfriend.
And you have to try to keep a woman happy at the same time.
Women,
trust me,
mom and
women,
girlfriend.
plural. Oh my Lord, it's hard.
It's two of them.
It's hard keeping just. Actually, you know what? Having having Kirti and our 2 children, that's hard enough to take care of. But having 2 adult women that you have to manage,
I'm very self-sufficient. Don't let them fool you guys.
Self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. So
they don't even know how to order delivery.
That's so.
They don't even know how to order delivery.
She always goes into this that we don't know how to order delivery. We don't order delivery.
And then they're like, "Oh, we're out of toilet
time.
paper." I'm like, "Do you not know how to get toilet paper? I'm at the office. Maybe you guys can."
You asked us.
How to get
That's because she asked,
paper.
"What do you need?" So hey, we need some toilet paper. Add it to the order.
Toilet paper scarce. A couple of years ago, they were just getting all the toilet.
And you know what?
Toilet paper these days.
You know what? I even did them. I did them a good too. We have 2 BB2000 toilet too. So we don't have toilet paper. You could just
basically
sit
a bidet.
on our
So the
toilet.
Oh yeah, I got 2 of those too.
Yeah,
nice.
The best.
The best thing in the world.
Best investment.
So let's get back on track here from your potty humor and you talking about how you are this fantastical individual that has to do everything and no one else does anything. What'd you say? It's putty facts?
It's potty facts.
Oh, potty? What are you from Boston? Let's go to the potty.
Let's go to the potty.
Let's go to the potty. I got a DJ up there.
I mean, I did live in northern Connecticut for a little while.
Look, I have a very important question to ask. That's beyond, we are talking so emotionally draining and something that is going to be extremely important that our audience is going to want to learn more about. And you're not giving me the opportunity to say this.
Because you talk too much.
I don't know what to say. I am being belittled and ridiculed.
It's okay.
These times.
I'll set this up to you later.
Don't make me deliver a speech or a monologue that was delivered
please
like
spare
the
us.
other
Just ask the
nights.
question, goddammit.
At the kitchen table, our families
No,
want to know.
No, we're not doing that.
So Tesso,
At the kitchen table.
when you're sitting at the kitchen table with your girlfriend and your mother, Are you discussing the workout routine that you do 6 days a week? And like for me, I've been working out my entire life, so I do it because I'm like older now and I have to keep the weight off. That's the only reason why I do it, to stay healthy. You look incredibly healthy and you look quite youthful, and you're out and about doing 50 different things.
You should see some of his videos. He's like climbing these crazy walls and lifting his body up upside down. I don't know. He's doing a lot of crazy stuff.
I've seen them. It's like a scary movie when people start walking backwards.
I was like, does he do stunt doubling on the side? What is happening at these?
I wish, right? That should be a new career for me.
So tell us, have you been like an exercise enthusiast your entire life? Have you been a runner your entire life? Or just tell us about like how you ended up getting started and working out.
What
and taking care of
motivates you to work out so much?
What motivates yourself? Yeah.
So about 10 years ago, I started to train. I started to run after my grandma passed because I needed to channel that emotion, and that's the way I channeled it. But as far as like endurance training, the reason why I'm training, one, I have a goal to live to 100, and also I was in
Why do you want to live till 100?
a healthy 100.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel
That's
like
just like
I just
the
feel
goal.
like
A healthy hundy.
my slogan is only one life. I don't know if you ever seen that on my page. I talk about that a lot. We only have one life, so I feel like we have to embrace everything that we have here.
Do all you can to live it well.
to live a long life here.
Kirti doesn't know what that's like because she apparently is Aryan, and so she's probably had like, I don't know, 150, 2,000
That's
lives.
not because I'm Aryan. It's because I'm Hindu.
Well, no, the same thing, because you're saying you're Aryan, so you're part of like the original race. You're Hindu, so you like go through reincarnation. Like last life, you could have been, I don't know, a lizard, and now
No, I would not be a lizard.
I think
You know?
I believe in reincarnation.
Yeah.
Even though it's
No, it's a
not-
belief.
it's a belief.
It's a philosophical belief,
yeah.
and even Hinduism is not a religion; it's a philosophy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do believe in reincarnation. You do too.
I do, sort of.
That was your pickup line with me.
I know.
Was it?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call it a pickup line.
Really, Gregory?
It's part of the story, but not the pickup
He's going
line.
FOS on us again.
If you were to watch the when I proposed to her,
SOS,
yeah.
da, 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 da. We're going to create FOS Greg version.
FOS. No, but if you were to take a look at the video, which is on one of our shows, when I had proposed to her, I tell the whole story and how we had met several thousand years ago. That we were both a prince and princess in like an Egyptian era who died prematurely,
reason
and our
we're Egyptian
souls
in his vision.
had been literally searching for each other ever since. And then we finally found each other in a city in a event that neither of us were supposed to be at that moment in time. So I believed it was fate that brought us together.
That's great.
He's very romantic.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, I'm like, clearly not.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah, because he's like, why do I have to order the toilet paper again?
Yeah. Let's not bring up the TP.
Why not? You use too much of it.
I do not. I'm not even home. I leave to the office at 7 a.m.
She's always blaming other people.
Oh, wait, we're not talking about men and their use of toilets and toilet paper. That's like a whole other episode, Greg.
I know. We could. What do you mean that's a whole other episode?
Okay.
Okay. Back to
so
you.
I started training.
Okay.
So I started
Why
to train.
do you focus
Yeah.
on
So back to when Kirti, so rudely interjected.
No, that's great. So I was in a really bad car accident around 12 years old, and I broke the right side of my body. I was in a coma for about a month.
Oh my God.
And I had to go. I was homeschooled for 2 years, and I had to learn how to walk, talk, and write again. And I ended up like from there, I started to like really focus on health.
That's amazing.
Fast forward like 2000, probably 14, 15, I had skin cancer.
Oh no.
And I was like, let me really dial in on this. And plus my surroundings. My mom, my grandma. So I was in college to become an actor. Actually, I got scouted by Saturday Night Live, and then they both got cancer at the same time. My mom ended up getting breast cancer, and my grandma
sorry to hear that.
ended up getting throat cancer.
Oh.
And I dropped out of college to just take care of them, and then that's what really motivates me to keep being healthy.
Oh my God, you're an inspiration.
Thank you.
I think a lot of people who get pushed down once, it's hard to get up, then twice,
Yeah.
thrice. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot to life isn't easy.
No.
You know, I mean, we've chatted about that all the time.
Yeah,
Just life
yeah.
is.
I think
it's
there's also
very
this
hard.
element, and I really respect you for sharing that, and it's
Yeah.
really inspirational because I think a lot of times we could let the negative things that happen to us almost make those an excuse for not improving ourselves or working on ourselves or
Yeah.
trying to be optimistic and
Or use it a lot.
and increase our potential to be
Yeah.
better, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is amazing that you shared that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because you look at the success story you are now and the talent you've blossomed into, and then you're also going to go make a baby. Like this is
Yeah.
like phenomenal.
Well, it's like it's a great story because it's all about, you know, facing adversity, right? And just how do you overcome it? And when it happens even multiple times.
Yeah.
And
it's
the
such
ability,
uncontrollable thing.
Yeah,
Control. It's just life. It's those are the things that nobody teaches you how to, you know, react to,
Right.
and like adapt to, and that's just you got to be thrown in, and you either deal with it or you
But it
don't.
also then comes down to like what choice do you make at that moment really helps to shape
Yeah.
who you become moving forward, right?
100%.
Well, gosh, I couldn't think of a more emotive but also lesson learning way to really kind of wrap up our episode here.
well, it's to me, it's inspiring. Number one, because I mean, we've gone through certain challenges in life, and my parents are deceased, so I understand, you know, losing loved ones, and my uncle unfortunately just died in the last 36 hours as well.
Sorry to hear that.
And thank you. And so it's one thing about life that I've learned is how resilient people can be, and as long as you have the right mindset, it's very easy to fall to like the dark side and maybe do
So
things
easy.
that will harm yourself.
well, even you've been through so much the last like 5 years, basically.
Yeah, with health
right?
issues myself.
Like
Yeah.
you get laid off when you're on medical leave,
Yep.
and then you contract a horrible disease that could have killed you.
Yep.
Then you end up breaking your ankle
My
to
other
like
foot, yeah.
to like debilitate you. Then there's like COVID, and then like you have somebody who will not settle your divorce.
Yep.
And like let you live a happy life. We had our own issue with like the alien baby thing.
Yes, it's true.
And then we like there's just so much stuff we've been through
Yeah,
the
it's
last
been
5 years.
challenging.
It's been so hard.
Even bringing together a blended family isn't easy, right? 'Cause
But what keeps us going is actually it's important to have people we love in our life
I was just gonna
because
say
that
love.
matters.
Love is the key.
Community environment. Yep.
Yeah. Love yourself and love your environment and love the people around you. You know, it's almost like if you pay love forward, it comes back to you.
It does.
Tenfold.
You know?
It does.
Absolutely.
Always does.
And
But you know, we are really excited to partner with you
yes.
on this remix. Can't wait to get it out.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
Which,
too.
you know, I want to chat about the remix briefly because I want to say thank you. But one last thing, because I started going into this, it was a two-part question before, because I just think our audience would be into this. And as we're talking about love, of course, music just always comes to mind. I'm like, all you need is love. But what goes through your mind, and how do you write music? And what do you write about? Are you sitting there like you want to write a love song for Jennifer, or are you like, hey, I'm in this EDM dance mood. Let me just put some lyrics to something really cool that I've done. Just, you know, in your spare time,
Like,
and
what's
you're
the
actually
process?
drafting and coming up with ideas for music. And what's your process?
Actually, it's very subtle. I make the best music when I have an idea and I like think about it while I'm like walking down the block or like driving the car. I'll think of something and I'll think of a melody and I'll record it into my phone, or I'll think of a old song. I do a lot of sampling. I sample a lot of old songs and like pitch down the vocals so I could release them as originals and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So like those subtle things. Sometimes I sit in the studio and I'm just like, I get writer's block. I don't know. I'll go to the piano. I'll play a few keys, you know. Then I'll sit back down. Then I can't think of something. But the little times it's like when I'm not thinking about music is when
When
I
it
create-
actually comes to you.
Yep.
Yeah. If you were to give our audience 3 tips to getting started, being a DJ, producer, songwriter, what are those 3 tips that our audience could walk away from and just start tomorrow?
I would even just say in anything in life, not even just music, just massive action. Take massive action and you got to recognize we're only here for as long as, you know, we don't really have that much time here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well, we don't know.
We don't
right?
know
It's
exactly.
A variable.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't know how long we have here. So you got to take massive action and do something that you love. Like it's authentic to you. Don't do it because somebody else is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And number 3?
Number 3, those two would be my top. Number 3 would probably be to find a program that you enjoy. If it's about music, find the program that you enjoy creating. Sometimes people use Ableton, sometimes people use FL Studio. Find the program that might suit you the best.
So it's like almost like identify the tech or the software that's going to help propel your ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's so many more options in this day and age than from when I, originally started. We're talking about cassettes earlier.
We're not going to talk about this.
I used to record.
It's the unsaid.
I used to record into a Tascam, 4-track cassette recorder. So I used to record, literally, I used to put 4 mics on my drum kit, record it, then I'd bounce that down to 1 track, then I'd start putting guitars, bounce that down to 1 track, then put that all on 1 track, then basically continue just building and building and building and bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. So it's really kind of a challenging situation. So it's much easier in this day and
Greg,
age.
I think that will be a whole episode of how Greg recorded everyone.
How Greg recorded back
in
in the day.
1985.
In 1985.
Before any of us were able to use
I think
anything.
that's the year MTV came out.
I wasn't even alive.
And Tesso wasn't even born.
Tesso. So talking Tesso, though, we got to talk about the remix. I heard a rumor that you heard this incredible song when you were at an event one night. You're like, oh my God, I have to absolutely must do a remix of that song.
Of a song that he would totally not relate to because he doesn't drink alcohol.
I know, which is the best part because it's all about the melody anyway. The words are the words, but it's about the melody.
Opposites attract. That's
exactly.
Well, you know
Paula
what?
Abdul, remember that song?
Well, you know what's funny?
Attract.
When we released the original song at Christmas time, my dad, he was not someone who consumes alcohol really. He'll have a sip of champagne for New Year's type of thing, but he's not a drinker. He was just like, this song is so good, Kirti. You guys have really made such a catchy song. He's like, you should now make it into Tequila Tuesday, Tuesday. And then he was like, you should do Whiskey Wednesday.
You could do
and I'm
that.
like, oh my God, Dad's a genius. We could actually just create a song for every single
Yeah, we're just going to
alcohol.
license that to every booze brand.
Yeah.
Tequila, whiskey,
But
champagne.
we're so excited with what you've created. And I think
Red
we're
wine
releasing it soon.
Sunday.
I'm excited. Should I give a little hint on how I created it?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Right now the type of music that's in is the BPM range is 145. It's more upbeat. It's more 90s.
Yeah.
So that's what's coming back full circle. So I said, you know what? Let me take that and turn it into more of a dancey track. And
Yes.
that's literally it has a 90s vibe to it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's funny. When we played it for my sister, who loves club, house, EDM, she loves those type of remixes.
Yeah.
She was like, this is the music that's coming back in vogue, actually. So it's pretty cool, how this DJ's remixed this.
Yeah.
So it was validated by,
I appreciate
hardcore, EDM queen, who
Miami
goes to
people.
concerts in Miami, you know. So I was like,
Miami contingent. It has the stamp of approval from Miami contingent.
yes,
Miami Music Week.
yes,
yes.
absolutely.
It used to be the big music festival back in the day.
WMC.
Historically, you had so you had South by Southwest, which was
Greg,
music
are
at
you
one
giving
point.
us another 1985 history lesson?
No, this is back in the 90s and 2000s. Okay. You had CMJ here in the city. You had the Miami dance music
Was
scene.
I born yet?
Were you born yet? You know what? You would have been born 1,000 times already. What are you talking about? Remember? You're reincarnated.
All right. Well, so
he went back. He took it there.
Yes. Oh, well, you're like a butterfly in a cocoon, a little chrysalis. Yes.
Well, we definitely have hit our
time.
Yes.
With, we have to let DJ Tesso get back to remixing and getting ready for the next food truck
rounds. He's got to go
rounds.
prep the hot dogs.
I know. I kind of want to make. Too bad we're not here during the regular week. I'd love to stop by your truck.
Next time when we come by, we should totally come and meet you up there.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
We can make it on a Friday.
Yep, that'd be fun.
That'd be so
absolutely
Bring
fun.
champagne. My mom will have a cup early.
We could film a short from there.
Yeah, we could. Yeah,
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it would be.
That'd be
Well,
fun.
thank you for
Maybe
joining us.
we can get her to give us the recipe.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to thank our guests.
Oh, well, thank you.
Okay, thank you
Thank
for
you for
coming
having
on the
us.
show.
Yes.
It was great to have you,
Yes.
and we can't wait to like release this
Yep.
single together.
Yeah. I'm
Yep.
excited
Daniel
too.
Tesoro, aka or PKA technically,
Tesso.
DJ Tesso.
Tesso.
All right.
He goes by Tesso.
I know. That was introducing him.
We were happy to have
professionally.
Tesso on our show.
I was going by.
I'm
his,
going technically right.
His birth name to his professional name.
Okay, thank you very
It's
much.
the transition.
And that's a wrap.
Bah!